Survival games are possibly the most satisfying games to play. Starting with nothing and building your camp or leveling the skills of your character feels amazing. I spent the past few days scouring the entire web to find the best survival games at this moment, so without further ado, let's get started. Number 10. Icarus. Icarus takes the survival genre onto a planet far, far away. You are an interstellar colonist who, after being dropped on an alien planet that's in the process of being terraformed, must struggle against the elements to survive. Making this matter rather tricky is all manner of predators, dangerous weather conditions, and starvation. You start each mission more or less naked and must gather supplies to craft essential tools to help you achieve your goals. The tech tree is vast, yet it will take you considerable amount of time and effort to advance to the point you can access premium technology such as guns, concrete structures, and practical resource harvesting tools. Icarus is full of addictive gameplay mechanics, gorgeously rendered nature, and many hours of challenging missions. It is one of the best recent survival games and promises to only get better with time. Number 9. Rust. Possibly one of the most infamous survival games in the genre, Rust has become known for the emergent gameplay held therein. Open voice chat allows players to talk amongst themselves as though they were standing next to one another. This makes for fascinating team dynamics as people cheat, manipulate, or support one another while fending off hunger, thirst, and cold. Adding to this, a highly customizable base system, flying vehicles, a randomized map, and dense weapon variety. You're left with an incredible experiment into what the genre can be at its craziest. Rust is one of the cruelest games on Steam, and that's what makes it so compelling. I've never had my feelings hurt in a video game like they were hurt playing Rust. Be prepared to put some hours into this game though. Some people even say Rust isn't a game, but a 9-to-5 job. Number 8. Ark Survival Evolved. Ark is a survival game with dinosaurs. Sounds cool enough. You must eat and drink to survive, with different kinds of plants and meat having different nutritional properties, including human meat. Ark often gets compared to Rust because they entered early access around the same time, and both feature open-world PvP combat, but they're fundamentally different games. Rust often sees you raiding someone else's base unawares 30 minutes after you spawn. In Ark, it takes a lot longer to get to the point where you can compete against the players who have put in their hours on the grindstone. And because it rewards that grittier gameplay loop, there's less incentive for senseless violence, promoting peacemaking between players. Where Rust sees you shooting other players on sight, Ark focuses more on developing your base, taming your dinosaurs, and building your online posse. And when it gets going, it can be an enjoyable ride. There are over 100+ creatures that can be tamed, and you can even fly a pterodactyl. Number 7. Eco. Eco is an intriguing title, part survival game, part sustainability simulation that features a diverse and interactive ecosystem that you must keep alive. It has been lauded as a great educational tool for teaching younger audiences about how to respect the planet, with specific pathways of industry meaning a negative feedback loop. If you burn coal, you can endanger the planet. If you cut down too many trees, you can jeopardize the world. But on top of all this, there's still the incoming threat of a giant meteor that you have to find a way to destroy, lest all life on Earth perishes anyway. It's wholesome and pretty, with a propulsive sense of urgency baked into its mechanics, an all-around insightful experience. Number 6. Frostpunk. 11-bit Studios' other headline survival title, Frostpunk, is an incredible hybrid game that perfectly blends elements of the 4X survival and base building genres, while immersing audiences in its rich and icy steampunk world. After 2 volcanic eruptions decimate Earth in the 1800s, it's up to the player to gather and burn as many fossil fuels as possible to keep your civilians warm and develop the efficiency of the last city on Earth. And while it does a great job of being a city sim, Frostpunk's most interesting elements are what it takes from the 4X strategy genre, with public approval systems in place alongside laws, morality scales, and gameplay options that can allow you to play as a purely evil asshole if you see fit. Want to have a labor workforce made up exclusively of children you enslave into compulsory 24-hour shifts while executing dissenters by burning them alive in the furnace? Go right ahead, you monster. If you enjoy the video, consider to leave a like. It helps to spread the video to more people. Number 5. RimWorld. Similarly to Frostpunk, RimWorld is another base construction and roguelike survival game, but with the added twist of its AI storyteller, who you're constantly pitted up against. Like a dungeon master that nobody asked for, RimWorld's AI storyteller is entirely in charge of the difficulty, progression, and random events that beset your colony, which may allow for an easy meander through its technological progression trees and survival systems, or may force you into a grimdark timeline that sees every one of your colonists dying from an incurable disease. Alongside this is plenty of custom mods that are accessible directly from the Steam Workshop, so if you ever wanted to further humanity with your work as an organ farmer, now's the time. Number 4. Valheim. Valheim is a ruthless exploration and survival game for 1 to 10 players set in a procedurally generated world inspired by Norse mythology. Valheim was developed by a modest team of 5 people. Surprisingly, their efforts were enough to create one of the biggest hits of 2021. The game topped the Steam charts for many months, gathered 500,000 gamers at its peak, and earned 95% positive reviews. It's nice to be in the world of Valheim. The environment is technically rustic, but the artists have done a great job with the design and biomes, making the visuals one of the main strengths of the game. In the world of Valheim, you struggle to survive as you gather materials and craft weapons, armor, tools, ships, and defenses. Decorate your hearths and sharpen your blades, grow crops and vegetables, prepare food, brew potions, and progress as you defeat more difficult bosses and discover new recipes and blueprints. There are not so many combat techniques, but chopping skeletons and other evil spirits is exciting. The construction mechanics are typical, but due to the cool physics, building houses is a fun thing to spend your time on. Cutting down trees is a common thing, but when they realistically fall and crush the hero to death, you are surprised. Number 3. Minecraft. It's Minecraft. It's probably the best example of what game design can be. A laundry list of fun and interesting systems that intersect in perfect simplicity. You chop a tree, you get wood. You upgrade your shit. You build a base. You farm. You tame animals. You explore the world. And you fight bosses. But all in a way that seems emergent and never feels like it's something you have to do. But it's also an intimidating title that may seem simple on the surface, but holds an infinite capacity for interactivity as limited as your imagination. At its craziest, Minecraft can see you build everything from one-to-one replicas of all of Seattle to redstone calculators that can solve calculus problems. But at its core, there is still a thoroughly enjoyable survival sim. We all remember the first base we built to escape the rain, the first time we died to a creeper, or the ecstasy of finding our first diamond. And it'd be hard to not give credit to the game that's fueled millions of kids' childhoods. Number 2. The Long Dark. The Long Dark is one of the more capital S survival games on this list, but is easily one of the richest in terms of its aesthetic and setting. It sees you managing heat, food, water, and tiredness, with systems for crafting and repairing clothes, building fires, and hunting and combating the various animals that populate your surroundings. Rather than including intensive base building mechanics, The Long Dark takes a turn for the more realistic, as you try and escape the snow in the various abandoned settlements of the Canadian wilderness. While some of the survival elements are frustratingly immersive, effect stacking sometimes makes the game a nightmare to play, that's also The Long Dark's biggest boon. If you're looking for a game on this list that aims to make you feel at odds with your surroundings and in turn gives you that rich sense of pride for surviving at all, The Long Dark has it all. Not to mention, it has a great story mode attached. If you take the positive elements of every game on this list, toss them in a blender, and sous vide the result, you get Subnautica. Somehow, Unknown Worlds found a way to perfectly tread the tonal line between a curious, playful reef swimming simulator and a batshit terrifying abyss walking thriller, and does so with a mastery of interactive systems, crafting mechanics, and an intriguing story to boot. It does such a good job of setting the tone of the alien world of 4546B, you never really feel like you're being pitted directly against it as much as you're trying to work alongside it. Even though there's nothing more emotionally turbulent than having your Seamoth destroyed by a Reaper Leviathan, it never feels like the game is singling you out for doing anything wrong, but rather that you just flew too close to the sun that time, and that your reward should be a quick panic attack. There's a couple of issues the game has with inventory management or could have approached crafting with a less frustrating UI, but both of the Subnautica games stand as incredible ways to create a survival experience for the audience. Number 1. V-Rising. V-Rising is a brand new survival game that's taking the PC gaming world by storm with its unique blend of vampire lore and survival gameplay mechanics. While it might sound like a bit of an odd match at first, it's a combination that makes a lot of conceptual sense. Think about it. Vampires are practically defined by their need to feast on human blood and how they turn to dust when hit by sunlight. In V-Rising, you awaken as a weakened vampire after centuries of slumber, so right from the start of the game you have to hunt for blood to regain your strength while hiding from the scorching sun to survive. Learn and master an arsenal of deadly weapons and unholy abilities. Tailor your vampire to fit your playstyle by combining weapons with a variety of spells earned through vanquishing powerful foes. Master your skills and unleash your wicked powers. Also noteworthy is that V-Rising manages to balance its crafting, exploration, and base building with solid storytelling and RPG elements, something which is rare, even amongst the best survival games of all time. That wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I want to thank you for watching, and I wish you a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Till then, peace out.